The Orlando Magic just pulled off a huge move with the Memphis Grizzlies. Does this change anything with the Pistons offseason? Do they need to do something similar? Let's talk about it right here on Top Title Detroit. Let's go.
Perfect.
What's good? Welcome to Top Title Detroit. I am Eric Vincent, your host and Detroit Pistons beat reporter for ClutchPoints.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate your time. Before we get started on the video, please help us continue to grow the channel by liking the video and subscribing as well. We just hit over 300 subscribers the other day, and I'm really trying to get as many before the end of 2025. So please tell a friend to like the video and subscribe. Lock in with us right here at Top Title Detroit. I would really appreciate the love. Let's get into the bombshell news that just came out. We saw the report from Shams that the Memphis Grizzlies starting a teardown by trading Desmond Bane to the Orlando Magic. Shocking move. Huge news that just came out, and it was a huge package that came in return for Desmond Bane. The Magic sent over Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Cole Anthony, 4 unprotected first-round picks, and another first-round pick as well. So 5 first-round picks to go as well. Went in the exchange for Desmond Bane. Crazy deal that I did not see coming at all. And I honestly kind of like it for both parties. Before we get to how this involves the Pistons and what it kind of means for their offseason, just on the surface of this deal, again, I think this is a great move for both parties. I don't think Memphis is at a point where they're ready to contend anymore. They've been dealing with a lot of injuries. They've been tearing off a lot of pieces and a lot of players that have left their roster. And at this point, they've seen like things change a little bit to a point where maybe they want to explore different avenues in terms of how they build their roster. So moving Desmond Bane first kind of makes a lot of sense, especially considering what they got in return for it. Now, a lot of people are saying that it was a holy overpay and, oh, they got fleeced and, oh, my God, how did Orlando get rid of all of that? First of all, yes, the draft picks is crazy. 5 picks, including 4 unprotected, is pretty wild. I will give you that. However, the players they dealt away in the exchange kind of levels it out to an extent, especially if it helps Orlando get to the place they're trying to shoot for, which is a championship. So if you get rid of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who was their free agent pickup last season, and he was terrible, you move on from Cole Anthony, who was nothing more than a guy that was injuring people, and you already have a better version of him in Jalen Suggs. Those players in exchange, plus for some picks, which, again, for their future may not matter too much anyway if you have a guy like Desmond Bane in your fold, that is a huge upgrade for Orlando's backcourt. So now you get to roll out Jalen Suggs, Desmond Bane, Franz Wagner, Paulo Banchero, and Wendell Carter as their starting 5. That's unbelievable. That's a top 3, top 4 roster on paper. We'll see what they look like when, the season starts. But off rip, I don't look at it as a fleece at all. That's a fantastic move for Orlando. They needed some help in the backcourt to kind of give themselves an offensive punch, and I think Desmond Bane is a perfect player to add for their roster. Now let's switch gears a little bit. What does this mean for the other teams in the East, including the Detroit Pistons? Do they now get put on a timetable where maybe their offseason plans have to look a little bit different? Not necessarily. I still believe they're in a position where they're allowed to be a little patient instead of crashing for a player as big as Desmond Bane. While Bane may not be a star, he's a huge acquisition. He put up 49 points against the Pistons without Ja Morant just last season during the Monty Williams era. And he's had a lot of moments where he's looked like he could be a star-capable player, maybe in a different environment or in a more stable environment than Memphis. Again, seeing the injuries that they've had with Ja, a lot of up and down play, sometimes in, defensively or offensively with Jaren Jackson Jr., firing their coach before the playoffs got here. There was a lot of troubling signs for a team like Memphis. A team like Orlando that was hungry, trying to get to a championship like caliber, or at least a postseason threatening caliber, this is the kind of move that you make. And I don't think the Pistons are in a position right now where they necessarily need to do that. Let's not forget, They made it all the way as a 6th seed without their second best player healthy and without one of their best defenders active in the playoffs in Isaiah Stewart. Without a healthy Jaden Ivey and without Isaiah Stewart in the playoffs, they were able to find themselves in the 6th seed and push the Knicks to 6 games where maybe that first round series can come out a little bit different if a couple calls and a couple players go a little bit different. Or maybe if those players are active. So to me, I don't think they're in a desperation position where they had to plunge for a player like this. I feel like Orlando kind of needed this right now because they just have been to the playoffs over the past couple years. They needed to get a little bit more help and experience in terms of scoring and postseason experience as well. So again, this was a player that they kind of needed. We're looking at the Pistons and their roster where, again, a lot of the pieces are changing or in positions where they could change because they have Tim Hardaway Jr., he's on an expiring deal, so he's going to be a free agent. You have Malik Beasley, also a free agent. You have Tobias Harris with 1 year left on his deal. You have 2 of your core guys in Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren who are eligible for rookie contract extensions. So a lot of things could change within the next few years for the Detroit Pistons. But in the immediate moment right now, they're not in a position where they have to break down some of those pieces like the Memphis Grizzlies were. We just talked about the troubles that they were dealing with, a lot of, I'm going to say insecurities, but a lot of question marks that they had in terms of where their roster was going. Like, I worry for the players that they have at this point. Like, when you look at the Pistons, things look good for them right now. You see them making progressions, getting to a more promising area in the Eastern Conference, and playing postseason basketball that could warrant them to a dangerous place like maybe the ECF or the championship. As one of the teams that plays defense consistently, a team that has balance offensively when healthy, where they have shooters, they're getting better. These are things that you can kind of smile about in terms of their future. Memphis didn't have that. I think Ja Morant will probably be out of here pretty soon. Like, I'm worried about watching his game. Like, a lot of people had conversations about players you would trade Cade for, or how many other people better for Cade. And a lot of people push Ja to be better or more valuable than Cade Cunningham. That just personal conversations I've had. And they all sound crazy. Like, Ja's style of play is fantastic. I think he's a really good player that's evolved in a lot of ways. He's very undersized and he is very injury prone at this point. He takes a lot of contact. He's a very high collision player. And for that reason, it makes him to an extent expendable for this team. We're not going to get into his personal stuff because I think that's a little overblown. But when you look at the way he plays and his play style, I think that's dangerous to build around over the next 5 to 10 years. An undersized, dynamic guard with high athleticism, but puts himself in harm's way more often than not. And again, that's in a basketball sense. I'm not talking about his personality or anything like that. That's not me. I don't do that conversation. So looking at the way Ja plays, I understand why Memphis is thinking about possibly breaking these things down. You still are in a position with Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham, Asar Thompson, Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart. A lot of these guys are kind of just stepping in to the greatness that they have within them as NBA players. They're stepping into their prime. They're unlocking different things. Jaden Ivey unlocking the ability to play better defense in passing lanes, creating a three-point jump shot off of catches, off of dribbles, like just off of isolation, showing the upside of a 3-level score, the ability to get to the hoop and draw contact. Like, these are things that he's still building on. And for all we know, maybe in 2 years, he could be better than a player like Desmond Bane. And I don't think that's impossible based on the progress we've seen thus far. Like, same with Asar Thompson. There's no question that maybe if he continues to go at this pace and improve at this pace, he could be one of the better forwards in all of the NBA, especially at a two-way level, because he's already one of the better defenders in the league. And I think if his game kind of takes a couple more steps offensively, you have something there that you would want to invest in the future. They don't have a lot of guys that they're eager to be getting rid of right now, because a lot of the guys in the young core have shown that they can be promising players and complement Cade Cunningham in a winning fashion. That is what's most important right now for this Detroit Pistons team. And as of right now, I don't think they need to be on the search for a guy to tear all that down. Now, if a name makes sense, you have the conversation. I've mentioned guys like Trey Murphy that I think would be worth entertaining a conversation for in terms of breaking down what their foundation is already at. But to me, a guy like, we talk about guys like Derek White and these role players that are in their 30s and just, kind of beyond their peak. These are not the guys you have these conversations with. Desmond Bane is the reason you have a conversation for. Trey Murphy is a guy you have a conversation about. But it's not a whole lot of those kind of names that are available or make sense for the Detroit Pistons. So for that reason, they can kind of fall back. They can fall back on making the splash move right now. That doesn't mean they need to stand still, though, because a lot of these teams in the East are looking to get better while they just saw Cleveland lose in the second round. They just saw Boston go down with an injury, so they're going to be a little weaker next season. Like a lot of these teams at the top, like the Knicks, they're a good team, but they just fired their coach. They kind of rely too heavily on just their star level players, and they don't play with a lot of depth as well either. So they're going to have to make a lot of changes to maintain where they were last season. Like, it's a wide open gap for the Eastern Conference for a lot of teams to move up. That's why you see teams like Indiana in the finals right now. Not to take away it's not a good team, but again, I don't think they were just far on beyond like the best team in the NBA or in the East. I think they were just playing better than anybody else at that time. I think Boston kind of went away, played different styles. That's a different conversation. The point is, the Pistons are not in a position where they need to go out and make a splash transition right now. But I did tweet that I do want to see them work on the margins, find more guys that can help complement the core to take them another step up in the postseason, or maybe win some more games in the regular season. Again, that doesn't even crashing out with 3-4 picks in exchange for somebody like Desmond Bane. But if you can find a way to pry out somebody like Bobby Portis to be your backup 4 or your starting 4, I think that's a huge upgrade for the Pistons. Finding a way to get him, bringing Malik Beasley back, that makes the Pistons a little bit better. Again, we're talking a lot about the Memphis Grizzlies wanting to, break down a lot of their pieces. A guy that's available is Santi Aldama. I really like his game. I think he would be a huge plus transaction as the Pistons backup 3 or 4. He can even get starting minutes as well, give you that kind of two-way dynamic as a scorer, a shooter, and a defender. Like, those are the kind of pieces and level players that they can be looking at right now. I don't think it's in their best interest to say, let's cash in all of our young chips and assets or a good chunk of our future to find out what we have in a guy in a 3-4 year window to maybe win a championship. They don't have to rush to do that. Maybe in the next couple years, we'll see who's on the market or what players disgruntled and maybe wants a new location. But as of right now, I think Trajan Langdon can kick his feet up for a little bit. I don't think he's feeling any kind of pressure to make any bigger of a move he had prior to today because of the move that the Grizzlies and the Magic just made. I think they can chill a little bit. They got a little bit of time. There's no need to rush. You have a foundation set. You have a superstar growing in front of you right now. You have a coach that's invested and wants to be here. You have things that are working smooth right now. Don't tinker too much with them, but also don't sit still. I don't think they should be turning back the exact same roster as last season. They should be looking to improve the margins, and I mentioned the kind of guys that they could just bring earlier. That's the way you should be looking at this right now if I'm the Pistons, looking at my offseason plans. What Orlando just did does not scare me. It does not scare me. You're still fine. You have winning pieces in place. Take your time. Make the right moves. Move at your pace, not what everybody else is doing. If I were front office, that's what I would be saying. But talk to me in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Do you think the Pistons need to make a splash acquisition in this offseason? And if you want to see them add somebody in the offseason, who would you love to see on the Pistons roster? Talk to me in the comment section. I would love to hear from you there. I'm going to be doing a write-up soon on clutchpoints.com. Be sure to tune in for my work. I'll be sure to post it on my social media as well if you want to check it out on there, which is at I am Eric Vincent on all socials. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of the above, at I am Eric Vincent. Thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate your time and for tuning in. Again, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you again soon right here on Top Title Detroit. Peace.